See, I had a plan. I was going to film this video like a few days in advance and then have a lot of time to kind of edit and post and do all that stuff before the Spooktober readathon, but I'm doing it all in one day because I've had a couple of nights out and if you can't tell by my voice, yeah, just haven't really done anything productive in the past 2 days. So I thought I would do a quick book recommendations, specifically spooky books, because it is the month of October. I'm gonna try and do this least scary to most scary. So the first one I have, Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Now there is a movie adaptation to this. This is basically about this girl who moves into a new apartment house type, townhouse type area. And she discovers this little door, and when she goes through it, it's completely her world, but everything is just a little off. And there is this one particular scene in this book that didn't make it onto the movie, and it really creeped me out. I think I did actually tab it. So if you're looking for something spooky and a little bit fun, I suggest picking this up, and then you can go ahead and watch the movie afterwards. The next book I have to recommend is Nevermore by Kelly Craig. I don't know how to say her last name. This is one of those creepy type atmospheric gothic books, and it's one that definitely surprised me when I went into it because the writing style is so rooted on contemporary that I didn't realize the spooky creepy aspect. It's about these two characters, the two characters in the on the cover, and they are paired up to do a English project on Edgar Allan Poe. And when they start, you know, studying his poems and his works, they seem to kind of come to life, and like creepy things start to happen. Moving on up the creepy scale, I have The Haunting of Sunshine Girl by Paige Mackenzie. This is about a mother and daughter who moves into this new house, and the main character, Sunshine, she experiences a bunch of creepy things. I found all of the night scenes and the ghostly encounters in this book to be slightly creepy. It also helped that I was reading this at night, so if you're into ghost stories, definitely pick this up. The next book I have is more of a classic, The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. I read this book I think 2 years ago, and it's one of those books where I read it and thought it was okay, but as I finished it, I kept thinking more and more about the concept of the story, and it creeped me out a whole lot more. It's basically about this man who isolates himself onto this island, and he starts kind of working on animals, and there are like creepy mutant animal type things within that story. If you're looking for like a gothic-y, science fiction-y type classic to read, definitely suggest it. The next 3 books that I'm going to mention are more psychological thrillers. Monsters by Emerald Fennell. This is about a little girl who just lost her parents, and so she has to move in with her uncle. Her uncle owns this big hotel at a seaside town. It's around the summertime and she's kind of bored, trying to figure out what to do, and she meets a young boy that is staying in that hotel as well, around her age, and so they start hanging out. The plot starts off when the town starts discovering dead bodies washing up onto the shore, and the 2 kids take it upon themselves to try and uncover the mystery. Now what's really creepy about this book is that the 2 kids are 12-year-olds who are very impressionable. The story is basically about how these 2 characters influence each other and how they kind of try and one-up each other, and while all these murders are happening, and it's creepy. Moving on to a more adult psychological thriller, I'm going to recommend Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. It's about this woman who has this very specific type of amnesia. She can remember things and can kind of hold on to her memories all within a day, but then if she goes to sleep, the next day she won't remember anything. And every morning she is told about her life and her history by her husband. And as the novel goes on, you start to kind of pick up on some slightly shady things. I recommend listening to it on audio because it's written in diary entry, so I think audiobook makes it that much creepier. And the third psychological thriller that I have to mention is one that I mention quite a lot on my channel, and it's You by Caroline Kepnes. Now, I don't have my paperback copy of You. I only have the second book, which is Hidden Bodies, because I lent it out to my brother's girlfriend because she likes psychological thrillers. But anyway, it's about this stalker who stalks this girl at a bookstore, and I think what makes this book super creepy and why I really recommend listening to it on audio is it's written in second person, so you really feel like the stalker is stalking you as a reader. The next couple of books that I want to recommend I think fit more within the horror genre, and the first one that I have is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Salem's Lot is one of the only books I've read by him that I actually finished and really enjoyed. It's essentially Stephen King's take on a vampire story, and I think he did it really well. It's about this town and two new characters come into town. One of them is a writer and the other one is this mysterious person that takes residence in the town's kind of urban legend haunted house that's been vacant for years. It's really creepy. I think the way the vampires were portrayed in this book were really terrifying. They're not the romanticized vampires, they're the actual monstrous kind of vampires. The next book I have to recommend is actually a short story collection, and it's one that I haven't actually finished, but I've read a couple of stories from it and I think it's a really good one. It's The October Country by Ray Bradbury. I mean, it's called The October Country, so you know it's going to be good around the time of October. The second last book that I have to recommend is one that I'm currently in the middle of, but I'm 50% through it and I really enjoy it. It's called This Is Not a Test by Courtney Summers. Is that what it's called? Yeah. It is a kind of a zombie apocalypse type book, but not really. I've seen a lot of people compare it to The Breakfast Club meets The Walking Dead or meets zombies, and there's this certain feeling that I get when reading it, and it's the same feeling that I got when I watched It Follows. It's that kind of very quiet, slow build up, terrifying, holding your breath, holding your stomach in type horror, and I really enjoy it. And the last book I have to recommend is one that I've recommended time and time again. It's The Ruins by Scott Smith. This is one of my favorite horror novels. It's about these group of students in their 20s and they go to Mexico, I think, for a holiday, and the characters sort of team up to find one of their brothers that's gone missing, and so they wander into the uncharted areas, the ruins, and they can't get out. Something is holding them in. It's so fast-paced and action-packed, and it's just creepy. Anyway, those are the books that I have to recommend today. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me, and I will leave every link that I have, whether it be reviews or whatever, down in the description bar below, so go check that out. And I hope you are having a great day, and I will see you soon.